Coming to you from the beautiful University of South Florida campus in Tampa, it's USF Housing Live!
Welcome to USF Housing Live. I'm your host, Julia O'Hara with Housing and Residential Education at the beautiful University of South Florida in Tampa. Thank you for joining us this evening as we speak with USF Dining and Student Health Services. First this evening, we'll be speaking with the Marketing and Communications Director for USF Dining, and later on in the show, we'll be joined by a registered dietitian with Student Health Services. So be sure to drop your questions in the comments wherever you're watching, and we'll respond to as many as we can throughout the show. Our first guest this evening is Jessica Chickles with USF Dining. Welcome, Jessica. Thanks for joining us this evening. How are you?
Hi, Julia. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Great. So we have some questions prepared for you. And then, like I said, anyone watching tonight can drop their questions in the comments and I'll get them here on my iPad and I'll ask them to you. So to get started, let's start with you telling us about who you are and what you do at USF.
Yeah. So, hi, my name is Jessica Chickles. I am the Marketing and Communications Director for USF Dining at both the Tampa and St. Petersburg campus.
And Jessica, let's talk about meal plans. What are they and how do they work?
So we offer a variety of meal plans that can be used at over 30 locations. Meal plans can be used at both the St. Petersburg campus and the Tampa campus. So once a plan is chosen, it is automatically uploaded onto the USF student USF ID card. So at the beginning of a semester, that they would just use their USF ID card to use their meal swipes and their dining dollars at our residential dining locations. There's two components to a meal plan. So there is the meal swipe component and a dining dollar component. The meal swipes, you swipe into any of our residential dining halls. So on the Tampa campus, we have 2 of those, and on the St. Pete campus, we have 1. And then our dining dollar portion can be used at any dining location across the campuses. So that includes your Starbucks, your Chick-fil-A, Panera Bread, BurgerFi, you name it, you can use your dining dollars.
And that was going to be my next question, is what's the difference between a meal swipe and dining dollars? So what are the locations on the Tampa campus that meal swipe can be used at?
Great question. So the Hub is one of our newest dining halls on the Tampa campus, and Juniper Dining. And we also have Champion's Choice, which you can use a meal swipe at if you have the Plus access on your meal plan. And then there also is one meal swipe that's called our flexible swipe that can be used at Argos Exchange once a day. Or you can use that at our Flip Kitchen location, which is also offered at Juniper or at Argos Exchange. And you can use that once a day.
Great. And this is going to vary, obviously, but how many swipes and dining dollars do students have per semester? What are those options?
Yeah, so you pretty much said it. It really depends what plan you are on. We have a variety of plans, so really it's what fits your lifestyle. We have a plan that is called our Open Access Plan, our most popular plan, unlimited meal swipes into those dining halls that I just mentioned, and about $200 dining dollars that is uploaded right onto your card. So for every meal plan, there's swipes and dining dollars, and that's automatically uploaded onto the card, as I mentioned. There is an NE15 meal plan, which gives you about 15 meals a week, and it resets every Thursday, and that gives you $300 dining dollars. Then we also offer block plans, and that gives you a set amount of meal swipes per semester, and then again, dining dollars as well.
And what are the options for students that are living off campus? What is usually recommended for those students?
So if you are living off campus and commuting, you can choose from any of our plans that we have, but there are 2 popular plans that commuting students typically like to choose. That is our Bull Block 60 plan and our Bull Block 32. So that gives you 60 or 32 meal swipes into our dining halls and then it gives you a set amount of dining dollars as well. There's a little bit more dining dollars, so a lot of times commuting students are on the go, need more Starbucks or need to have something more quick. You can use your dining dollars on the Grubhub mobile app as well. I wanted to just add that. So you can skip the line and order ahead, and you can use that with your commuter plans as well.
Great. And how do students pay for their meal plan?
Just as you would pay for tuition or housing, everything's uploaded. The charge is uploaded onto the Student Oasis account. So that is how you will pay for the meal plan as well.
And can students use financial aid to pay for the meal plans?
Yes, students can choose to use financial aid or scholarship money towards the meal plan. And if you are looking for a payment plan option, all you would need to do is call our office or visit our office in the Marshall Student Center, which is in MSC 1502. We can work with you on a payment plan as well.
And when do meal plans activate for the fall semester?
Great question. So we are offering an early arrival meal plan, which will begin for anyone moving on campus early, and that is from August 14th through August 17th. You can go ahead and purchase that on our website, usfdining.com. Fall meal plans begin on Thursday, August 18th at the start of move-in.
Wonderful. And we talked a little bit about this too earlier, is if somebody is on campus for Breaks Day or even earlier than the 14th for any reason, there will be dining options available for like pay by the swipe or just the things that are in the MSC as well, correct?
Yes, yeah, you can. We'll always have dining options on campus available, and we will have the hub open, so you can pay the door rate for that if you're looking for an all-you-care-to-eat environment, or we will have Panera, Chick-fil-A open in the Marshall Center as well, and more options. You can always see what's open on our website. All of our hours of operation are posted on there, usfdining.com.
And Jessica, this is a popular question that we normally get around opening, but if somebody is signed up for a certain meal plan and then gets here the first week and then realizes that the meal plan isn't enough or is too much, is there an option for them to go and change their meal plan in a certain amount of dates after opening?
Yeah, it's a great question. You can upgrade your meal plan at any time in the semester, so at any point of time. If you ever think you need some, more, you can always add dining dollars too. That is an option. If you want to downgrade your meal plan or you're eligible to cancel your meal plan, you can do that during the first week of the semester. So starting on August 22nd to, I believe it's the 26th, you can come into our meal plan office in person and you can request to make that change, but it has to be in person in our meal plan office.
That's definitely important to keep in mind as you're going into your first week, just to think about that as you start using the on-campus options. So Jessica, the next question I have kind of touches on what our next topic is. With Stacy, we're going to be talking about the registered dietitian and the nutritional options that are available to campus residents and students. So what dining options on campus exist for students with special dietary concerns?
Yeah, so really every one of our locations has something for everyone. We also do have a great amenity that for all meal plan holders, we offer one-on-one consultations with our registered dietitian, who's an excellent resource as well. Her name's Karina Falcone. Her contact information can be found on our website, just clicking on the Health and Wellness tab. We also offer a allergen zone kitchen, which is called True Balance, at the Hub Dining Hall in Tampa and at the Nest in St. Pete for students that have severe dietary restrictions or allergies. Everything in those stations are prepared without the top 8 common allergies in the U.S. She also can help, Karina can also help navigate students throughout the dining halls that have specific dietary restrictions and really help them kind of use their meal plan and at its best of its ability.
Great. Jessica, where can viewers find information on all these different dining locations and the information we discussed on campus?
So your best dining resource will be our website, usfdining.com. It has hours of operation. You can view our dining hall menus and ahead of time, nutrition information on there as well, Karina's information, as I mentioned, and also social media. We have a pretty large following on Instagram. We're always posting events that meal plan holders can attend and promotions. So definitely would recommend giving USF Dining a follow on there. But our website, number one.
Great. And we do have a question from a viewer, Tracy. Thank you for the question. Are credit cards accepted? And if so, what is the benefit of doing dining dollars?
Credit cards are accepted, and we take all of the major credit cards. So you can definitely use those at any of our locations. I do want to add on this question that we do accept gift cards at Starbucks and Panera currently. Those are the only concepts on campus that we do accept gift cards at. And the other question was, what are the benefits of dining dollars?
A credit card.
Right. So you do get a discounted price using the dining dollars because there is a door rate at our locations. And then there's the dining dollar door rate. So say for lunch in the dining hall, if you just paid the door rate, as opposed to using dining dollars, you wouldn't be getting that $2 discount.
Oh, nice. Great.
Mhm.
Well, thank you again, Tracy, for the question. And if anyone has any additional questions, just be sure to drop them in the comments and we'll get to them. But Jessica, that's all the questions that we had prepared for you this evening. So thank you again so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
All right. Have a great night. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks again to Jessica for taking the time to chat. And it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more USF Housing Live right after this.
Welcome home to Maple Hall. Maple Hall offers suite-style rooms. Most suites consist of 2 single-occupancy rooms that share a bathroom, which is cleaned weekly. Some double-occupancy rooms are also available. Every bedroom has a bed, dresser, chair, and desk for every student, as well as a shared closet space and a window. Each floor has a full kitchen with an oven and refrigerator where you can cook your favorite meals. When you don't feel like cooking, the Argos Exchange Dining Hall is just down the road. Here, you can use a meal swipe to get an entree and a fountain drink from different rotating restaurant options. Or try the Bulls Express convenience store if you want to grab something on the go. Another dining option, The Hub, is just a short walk away in the village. At this dining hall, there are a wide variety of options that change daily, from a burger and fries to vegetarian stir-fry. When it's time to do your laundry, you can visit the laundry room on the first floor. Use quarters or swipe with your USF ID to pay with Bullbucks. It's up to you. To learn more about our housing options, visit usf.edu/housing and get ready to live the Bulls life.
Welcome back. I'm Julia O'Hara, and if you're just now joining us, this is USF Housing Live, and we're here to help prepare you to live the Bulls life at USF. Ask us your questions in the comments, and we'll answer live on the show. Our second guest this evening is a registered dietitian with USF Student Health Services, Stacy Struhar. Hi, Stacy. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for being here tonight. We have some questions prepared for you here, and like I said, if anyone in the audience has any questions, they can just drop it in the comments and we'll ask it on the show. So Stacy, to get started, can you tell us about who you are and what you do at USF?
Sure. I am a registered dietitian or registered dietitian nutritionist, and I'm also an alumni of USF where I completed my master's. I work at Student Health Services where I provide nutrition counseling to students for health concerns or nutrition goals that they have related to food or nutrition. So just to give a little bit of background, because I often get asked, what exactly is a registered dietitian or an RD? And so this is someone who's completed at least a bachelor's degree in dietetics with coursework approved by the Accreditation Council for Education in Nutrition and Dietetics, as well as completed a supervised practice program, passed a national exam, and completes continuing education. So a registered dietitian really is the nutrition expert to go to for research-based information. And then also part of my role, besides being a registered dietitian at Student Health Services, is I'm one of the directors of Feedable, which is the food pantry located at USF Tampa.
That's great, Stacy. And you mentioned, your role at USF. I don't have this in the questions here, but just for context, what are the opportunities for students to work individually with you or somebody in your role with Student Health Services? Do they make an appointment to have a conversation? How does that work?
Yeah, like to have a nutrition counseling session.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. They would just call Student Health Services. If you go to the main website, it's where you would call to schedule with, the doctor. I'm in the same location there. And then the student would just say they want to schedule with a dietitian. They don't have to be referred. Anyone can schedule that's a student. And I did plan to talk about different reasons why students may want to see a dietitian. So it may be more things than people realize. And the cost is $15 per session. So even if a student does not have any health insurance, they will not have to pay more than $15 to see the dietitian.
That's great. And I'm sure later on in one of my questions, we can dive deeper into that.
Yes.
So, and this hits on it too, what nutritional resources are available to students on campus?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Just to name a few though right now, of course, nutrition counseling with a dietitian. And then Katie Webster is the other dietitian at Student Health. So you can see either one of us. Just to talk about some of the different things that we see students for, it can be very general. It can just be a student wanting to learn more about balanced eating, maybe budgeting with food, which we'll talk a little bit about too. And then it could be more specific. Maybe the student is a vegan and they want to learn and make sure that they're getting the adequate nutrients they need. Maybe they have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, eating disorders, weight loss, weight gain, all types of things. So even if it's not on that list, we probably see it as long as it's related to nutrition. And then another food-related resource on campus is, of course, the food pantry, which I did mention before. So of the 3 campuses, you have USF St. Pete, Sarasota Manatee, and then Tampa. Each location actually has their own food pantry, which do operate separately. But if you're a student that's at Tampa, like you're a Tampa student and you're near USF St. Pete, you can utilize that food pantry. You can use any of them. You just have to be an active student. And so if, you're a student ever struggling with food concerns, whether it's every single week you're struggling, or maybe, you had an unexpected bill, a car payment or something like that, and you're short with your money that week, the food pantry is there for you as well. So the way our pantry operates at Tampa is students can just arrive anytime during open hours and just shop the shelves. And then there's another option too, where they can go to our website, pre-order a bag, and then the student doesn't have to come and shop. They just say what they want in the bag. The staff makes that for them, and then they can easily pick that up as a time that they select. And then when the students do come into the pantry, they'll see information about different nutrition topics, also how to sign up for SNAP or food stamps, as well as a bunch of different recipes. There are a lot of them, which are all based on foods that you would get from a food pantry, or they're just very inexpensive foods that can be created with little or no kitchen equipment. And that's really helpful for students who may be, without access to a lot of equipment, when they're on campus. Another resource is student outreach and support services. If a student goes to that service, they're able to get help connecting with SNAP, applying for that to see if they can get food stamps. And then the Center for Student Wellbeing, SWELL, has a website, and they provide all kinds of nutrition information, things about hydration, and then more recipes as well. And then the peer educators, students will probably see them on campus throughout the year doing different presentations.
And Stacy, is all of that information listed anywhere on the website, or because that's a lot of great resources that you just named? So where would students or even family members be able to access that?
There is a new website that was created that kind of brings all, this is just the food pantry part, and then I'll talk about the rest of them, but it brings all the information about the 3 food pantries together on one site. So it's just usf.edu/need-food. And then that will open up a page that talks about the 3 different food pantries. You can click on them and find out about each individual one. For Swell, there actually is a link, like if you go into student health services to find out about dietitian services, there will be a clickable link where it says, more resources, and that will take you to Swell's website and all of their health, nutrition related information.
And we talked briefly about this, which I love the idea of having recipes for, on a budget, items that you can find in a pantry or at the Feedable Pantry. So what other tips do you have for eating healthy on a budget in college? Because I know that can be a challenge sometimes.
Yes, it definitely can be a challenge. It's probably getting harder as, food costs have been higher along with a lot of other things. So the biggest thing with healthy eating on a budget really is just the planning aspect of things. That requires a little bit of an investment at the beginning of maybe the week. But it will help save money and probably decrease some stress when it's trying to figure out what to eat throughout the week. So usually when I talk to students about this, we'll figure out what grocery store they like to go to on campus. Publix is one a lot of students go to, but there's many right around campus. They have weekly ads. So we'll talk about going online, looking at those weekly ads at the different locations and see what's on sale. So typically choosing fruits or vegetables, choose the one that's on sale. That means they're usually in season, so they're fresher, they'll last a little longer, and they're less expensive. And then, frozen options, canned options are good things to have as well. If, the student has access to a freezer, because then that will help stretch between grocery visits, because fresh produce only lasts so long, but frozen and canned is definitely a great option as well to make sure fruits and vegetables are being consumed. Things like apples, bananas, and oranges are usually low-cost options that are also don't require refrigeration, so they're always a good snack option to have on hand. For proteins, this can definitely be a higher cost item. Chicken, fish, eggs tend to be a little bit lower cost, but also think about the plant-based sources as well for protein. Sometimes those can be a little more cost effective and still give a nice source of protein in the diet. So for example, canned beans, very inexpensive, pretty easy to cook with, and just try to choose like a no salt added or low sodium variety. And then with grains, like rice or pasta, try to choose the whole grains when they're possible, like whole wheat, brown rice, things like that. And then choosing store brand is always a good option too. It's going to taste very similar, be less expensive. And so after you've looked through the whole ad, figure out the different types of foods that you want to include. Think about the whole week, plan it out. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you have a dining plan, how many meals can you use at your dining plan per week? Schedule out when you plan to use those. And then you'll know how many breakfasts or dinners or snacks you need to have in between. And then once you've created that plan, make the grocery list, purchase the items, and then doing that type of thing, even though, like I said, it does require a little bit of time and effort in the beginning, it really will help cut down on food costs and will reduce the need to eat out, which will also help save money.
Absolutely. That's all great advice. And, that's something that I do. I check out the weekly grocery store ads, those BOGOs, the buy one, get one free. Can't beat it.
Yep, absolutely.
And what general nutrition tips do you have for students transitioning to college?
Yes, there's lots of things I could say for this. I don't know how many hours we have, but just to pick one specific thing, because this kind of goes back to the planning aspect, even planning a little bit before that transition to college. As students transition, they may realize that they might not have the the skills that they need to prepare meals. And so if they can try to work on learning some of those things before they come to school, maybe practicing over the next couple of weeks if you're just transitioning in the fall, and think about easy recipes, things that could be made quickly, maybe in like the shared kitchen, or maybe you have your own kitchen. Try to make sure those meals are balanced, and we'll talk a little bit more about what that means in a little bit. And then bring the things that you need with you to make those items, whether it's a pot or a pan or whatever that is. And so that would be going back to the planning aspect of things.
Mm-hmm. And what are some common nutritional challenges students face in college? And what advice do you have to overcome those challenges?
When sometimes students will struggle with prioritizing nutrition, new environment, new friends, lots of things going on, different responsibilities, and sometimes focusing on making sure that you're having enough nutrients through your food intake sometimes is not a focus area. And sometimes there can be stress related to deciding what to eat. So still trying to make sure that students, make sure you focus on having these balanced meals throughout the day, and making sure, take a step away from, even if it takes a moment, take a step away from studying for a moment, or, bring that meal with you to work. If you have a job, don't skip the meal, because over time you'll start to notice energy levels may get lower, finding it harder to concentrate. Making sure that you have these nutrients that you need through your food consistently throughout the day will help you be more successful as a student, and overall health will be better.
And Stacy, before we end off with your contact info and how to get in touch with your office, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you want to add?
Yes, I know I said balanced a few times and I actually forgot to cover what that means. So thank you for asking. So we want to try to aim for at least 3 meals per day, and try to make sure there's different components at that meal to create what we would call complete or balanced meal. So protein is the first option, whether that comes, or first necessity, whether that comes from fish or meat or those plant-based items that we talked about, like beans or peas. The second component should be a fruit or a vegetable, which can be sometimes forgotten, but do try to include those fruits and vegetables, at least one, a fruit or a vegetable at each meal. And then the third component should be some sort of like a grain item, some sort of energy there. Maybe it'll be rice or bread. If you can choose the whole grain option, you'll get more fiber, which is great for health. And so that's kind of that concept of balance when you're trying to figure out what recipes do I cook, or when I'm at the dining hall, what do I combine together? That would be the concept to try to keep in mind.
That's great and very important.
Yeah.
The last question I have for you, Stacy, is how students or family members that are watching tonight can get in touch with your office and learn more, or get in contact with you directly.
Yeah, definitely. Like I had mentioned at the beginning, with the Student Health Services website, that does have like the phone number to call if the student would like to schedule with a dietitian. I do have the number, but I don't know if I should just spew it off, or if it would be easier to just go to the website. But it is 813-974-2331. So that's Student Health Services. But like I said, this can all easily be found online. And then for the food pantry, just go to the Feedable website, or that usf.edu/need food. And that will give information about all the different food pantries, locations, hours, and how to contact, whether it's phone number or email.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for taking the time tonight and sharing all of this really valuable information.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Have a great night, Stacy. Thank you again.
You too. Thanks.
So if you have additional questions about living on campus at USF, you can reach our office by email at housing@usf.edu, or by phone at 813-974-0001. And be sure to join us for our next episode of Housing Live, next Wednesday, August 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking all about fall move-in at USF Tampa. You can watch on our Facebook or YouTube page, the USF Class of 2026 Facebook group, or the USF Parent and Family Engagement Facebook page. USF Housing Live is produced by Housing and Residential Education at the University of South Florida in Tampa. Our motto is best place to live, best place to work, best place to learn. Thank you to tonight's guests, Jessica and Stacy, for joining me this evening. Thank you to our production crew, to you, our viewers, and of course, there's always just one last thing. Go Bulls. Good night, everyone.